I don't buy a lot of comic book stuff because I'm not going to go into all that. Anyone who knows me knows why I don't really like the Marvel movies and all that stuff. But this is my second Marvel Legends figure, and it's based off the Infinity Gauntlet. And I'm going to be that old man and say the real Infinity Gauntlet story from 1991. This is Thanos of Titan, based off of the Infinity Gauntlet, the actual comic book. And when I say the real story, I mean, yes, Lady Death is in the picture there, which was kind of the whole purpose behind what he did, was to impress her. And I can't believe they never put Death in the Marvel movies. But I saw this guy and I'm like, yep, that's the Thanos I remember. So again, I guess it's kind of what you grew up with, right? Like I like Spider-Man from the 80s, and I like the way Electro looks from the 80s, right? I don't like this new modern interpretation of the characters. I guess I'm getting old, dude. I don't know. Anyway, this is going to be on my channel tomorrow, guys. So if you're interested in a big badass Thanos, I'm super pumped to tear this guy open.
That's awesome. And the gems are right on top of the package too, at the top there, which looked super cool. Again, I looked at Thanos because I have a couple Marvel Legends. I've got a couple Spider-Mans, Superior Spider-Man, and I've got Doctor Doom, of course. I'm not a huge collector of Legends, but I saw that. I go, oh, that's awesome. Yeah. Surfer is a Walgreens exclusive, of course.
I saw one.
Walgreens is a pharmacy in the US, and it's a new release that just came out of Surfer. Anyway.
It's the Black Surfer with Thor's hammer? And
it's not that one? Like an actual Silver Surfer, like proper.
Because I came across so when I got Thanos, I'm like, okay, well they've got to have either Adam Warlock or Surfer. I don't think they have Warlock, but the Surfer I came across, I researched it. He was all black, and he came with Thor's hammer. It was from some other alternate timeline thing, and I'm just like, yeah, okay, I don't know what that is, and So, hey, I don't mean any disrespect to Marvel fans. I stopped reading, like, in the early 90s. Danny says he got a Infinity Gauntlet poster framed. That's wicked.
And now he's saying he's going to go get me a Surfer then. Well, if you find two, Danny, hook a guy up, man. Hook a guy up. There wouldn't be a lot of Marvel Legends I'd want, but Surfer, Thanos, and of course Warlock would be one of them. Yeah. With today's show being about toys that time forgot, I kind of picked a toy that I wish time had forgotten. So, look, Stan Buck, our good friend Glenn, is in the chat saying Black Surfer with Mjolnir is from the Thanos Wins comic.
Oh, there you go.
Well, look at you, Stan Buck, creeping in on our cast and filling in the blanks as we need them. Always there to get our back. I love it.
Glenn, real quick, is that an alternate timeline, or is that like an alternate reality or something? I've never heard of it. Anyway,
maybe about a 10-second delay, so he'll chime in a second and cut me off, but that's okay. So I picked a toy that I kind of wish that time would forget. No, it's not Dick Tracy. No, it's
Thank
not
you. It's not Captain Power. Thank you.
This is a Masters of the Universe figure. It came out later in the run, and it's because it's part of the Snake Men. And it's an action figure adventure, and it's just kind of dumb. And that's Squeeze. Like, it's just
look at the arms go wow. They fall down.
It just does nothing for me.
That is the stupidest He-Man toy I've ever seen.
Like, and the head doesn't really look like a head. It's like much more like a dino head. You can kind of see it against my jacket there. It's just
he doesn't even look like he's part of the Masters line, except the legs. The legs are what give it away.
Yeah, and he's got the snake symbol, but like the Snake Men were never in the cartoon. They were kind of thrown in just at the end. There was Snake Face, Tongue Lasher, Squeeze, and this you're supposed to wrap around your figure, or you can, because it's the play feature, and it just
that's
is that expensive new? Of course, for me.
Did you just buy that, or did you order?
No. I had to get it when we were shooting Action Figure Adventure because we were showcasing play features.
Oh yeah,
in Masters particularly. So that's when I got that. Glenn is chiming in again now. The story is largely set in the future, but it features the Thanos from present Marvel continuity. It's the same storyline that introduced the cosmic Ghost Rider, who's in virtually everything now. Because of course, I don't know. See, it's already too complicated for me.
Yeah. Well, thanks for you know what, and to get closer on Thanos here. The head here, I don't know what that is. So that's probably from, I think I read that's from that Ghost Rider story you were talking about, Glenn. Because I don't know what that old man Thanos head is. I'm going to have to research that before I review it.
Yeah.
But, interesting. Yeah.
Jay, we were going to jump to action figure spotlight. Darren, do you have a figure you want to show off? You got a favorite dolly that you can show people? You got something in the background you can talk to us about?
I'm trying to see if I got anything new back here.
It doesn't have to be new. It just has to be interesting.
I can reach it. I'll just talk about what I can reach, because this is the ugliest hat I've ever seen in my life.
Dude, you got to fix that collar, bro.
Huh? It's got the collar popped up. But I cannot understand.
I'm going to pop some tags.
Don't you think they could have made that hat better? Even in 1980?
Oh my god, that's amazing!
It looks like a pen and a bear hat.
That's great. I had that. I don't know what happened to him. I still have the hat though, which is funny. I found
you still have the hat. I threw the hat away when I was a kid, so this one I had to get.
I don't know why. It looks so lovely and adds to play value. It makes every scene better with that hat.
There you go.
And don't take his boots off. Trust me.
Yeah, you had his collar pop. There we go. Man, that hat is bad. I remember it not fitting like that.
I would love to find a real one.
Like it looks like a hat that his dad wears in Last Crusade.
I know. It's like it's hard. I thought they had to have better technology then.
Is that your childhood one, or is that one that you picked up later?
No, I picked it up on Craigslist for like $5.
Oh wow.
Which is hard. You hardly ever find anything on Craigslist. Anything illegal.
Yeah, that's pretty
cool.
cool.
I don't know. You're dipping into some places. Craigslist, Kijiji, the dark web. You are hard up to find toys, man.
I go everywhere I can.
That's what separates you from the rest of us. You're willing to make the sacrifice, and we're just willing to buy new dollies for our shelves, because getting those old dollies for our shelf life just doesn't add up anymore. Jay, do you have a figure for Action Figure Spotlight this week? Do I have to pick a number, or is it just one and done?
No, I just have one that I picked up. In 2010, I don't know if you remember.
Nope.
You gave me a file, or you gave me a USB stick or something that had a ton of DC and Marvel cartoons on it. You said, you got to watch these. You got to watch these. That was on my old PS3. And I actually dug that up the other day, and I watched Batman, I think it's called Under the Red Hood, or the Red Hood. Story of how Jason Todd becomes the Red Hood. And I was in a store the other day, and speaking of McFarlane and the DC multiverse, I found the Red Hood. So I picked this guy up. This is my first superhero figure that I bought in a long time, save for Thanos.
Wrong. I was going to say you have Thanos.
So I don't know what's going on, but I love that story. These guys are actually pretty cool. I'm not a huge McFarlane fan anymore. His figures have kind of not really impressed me too much, but I picked that up simply because I think the Red Hood is such a wicked character.
I'm surprised, because you know what? I have other notes here to talk to you about superhero stuff, but we're going to save that for another show, I guess. Last week for Action Figure Spotlight, I showed this wonderful creation known as Squeeze. He just makes you want to smile, or he's like the silly snake mustache man. It was useless then and still useless now, but every good figure hopefully has a redemption story. Maybe.
Stop playing with it. Let's go.
I'm just trying to find the fun play value in this. But the redemption story I wanted to say for Squeeze is, of course, our good friends at Four Horsemen Toy Design were hired by NECA, another company we spent a lot of time at the beginning of the show talking about, we talk about frequently, and they did the Staction line. Darren, I don't know if you're familiar with Masters of the Universe that much, but there was a short-lived Staction line, which is a statue action figure, kind of plastics that you would find in an action figure, but don't move, so it's kind of a tease as well. And they came up with this version of the character, which is way more badass. And you can see there's actually a little bit more point to the character. These are actually other snakes that are upon him. And of course, that traditional 2002 He-Man-esque look to him as well. So a bit of a redemption story, because this figure is totally cool and is certainly one of the higher sought figures to get from that line as well. And like all sections, super, super heavy. And the paint apps are just fantastic. So while this dino arm thing with oversized hands that are bigger than his own skull, like look at that. That's
throw it over your shoulder like Last Jedi.
Like a scarf. It had a redemption story at the very least. So while one figure may not be awesome when it's first released, down the road, hopefully somebody will do it justice like you got with Squeeze there for sure.
That must have been pretty late in the He-Man line, because I was crazy about He-Man for a couple of years. I don't remember that one at all.
Good. Let's get to action figure spotlight. Jay, do you want to go first this week, or should I go first this week? What do you go first? Do you have your figure picked out?
Mine is ridiculous beyond anything that you've ever seen, ridiculous wise. Okay, it's a little bit of a backstory. I won't take up too much time here because we're almost out of time. However, on my personal YouTube page, I bought a Thanos Marvel Legends figure, and I hadn't read comics since the mid-90s, so I was trying to catch up on Thanos' story, and shout out to Glenn for helping me do that as well. But I just Googled heroes that have defeated Thanos, that have actually defeated Thanos himself, not a clone. You wouldn't believe this character that I found, and I heard the rumors of this Marvel hero that she actually existed. I didn't believe it. There is a character in the Marvel universe called Squirrel Girl, and and I'm like, no, there's not. There's not. And sure enough, there was. And then I started reading her lore and stuff, and it was just so ridiculous that I fell in love with the character. So naturally, as the #1 Squirrel Girl fan, I had to order Marvel Legends Squirrel Girl.
Let's see there. Oh, nice.
So that's her, and she comes with 3 different squirrels. I can't do this right left thing. I'm so terrible at it. There's some nice art on this side here. And if we flip it over, you can see the ridiculousness. Now, I'm not insulting anyone who's been a fan of this because she debuted in the 90s, I think. But just for me, I never heard of her before. And I couldn't believe, first of all, she defeated Iron Man, and then she defeated Thanos legit with her army of squirrels. It is so ridiculous and hipster. I had to have it.
I love that you are like a bona fide Marvel Legends collector now.
Oh, buddy, I'm all in. I got a serious problem. I
love it. Well, I don't have a long backstory to this other than some conversations that we had on our Patreon bonus episode where we talk a lot about superheroes and figures through the ages, from Superpowers to Toy Biz Batman, Beyond, and Marvel Legends. And so I thought, you've been really digging the Spider-Man animated series that's on Disney Plus from the 90s. I don't know how far you got, and you're really into the Spider-Man figures. But I wanted to showcase this one. I don't know if you've got this far yet in the show with the Scarlet Spider. It's, again, the Toy Biz packaging. This character shows up in the animated series later on. You'll see it, but I've always loved it. It's Ben Reilly, and I love the suit. He's appeared in a bunch of video games, of course, too, but it's modeled after his Spider-Man the animated series appearance. So you can see the other characters there. But again, a Marvel Legends character and figure without being in the traditional Marvel Legends packaging. So Ben Reilly, the Scarlet Spider, huge fan of it. Jay, what do you think?
That's really impressive. And that was always one of my favorite suits. The Spider-Man games throughout the years, I've purchased all of them and played them, although I haven't kept up with the comics. So a character like that, I didn't know anything about, but the suit's incredible. And I actually saw Heroes post that figure the other day. And it was actually, I think it was not Scott in the chat, but another buddy of mine, Scott, had already picked it up, and the post was only 3 minutes old. But I was seriously interested in that one. That's crazy. And you and I are both collecting the 1994 animated line. I think we've both completed it now. That is such a fantastic the figures in that are fantastic, and I'm hoping that they do more waves, because as I'm going through the cartoon, you see Punisher and Morbius. I'm like, oh boy, here we go.
They released Punisher on this gray kind of card already, which is wicked. But Morbius, 100%.
Yeah.
I think I have Daredevil as well already, and I know I have Iron Man and Hawkeye. So
Daredevil, put me off a bit, because he doesn't look like, I don't want to say my Daredevil, the red suit Daredevil. He's a little different, but he's still part of the Spider-Man line. So I can't wait for like the Chameleon. He's such a cool character.